Darwin's Origin of Species Review and Scientific Critique. Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species, 1859, provides the foundation for modern evolutionary biology. Darwin proposed that species evolve over time through natural selection, where individuals with advantageous traits are more likely to survive and reproduce, leading to gradual changes in populations. This framework has successfully explained many aspects of microevolution, small changes within species over short periods of time. However, Darwin's theory fails when it comes to explaining mega-evolution, the emergence of entirely new body plans and higher taxa in the biosphere. In this critique, I will explore the strengths and weaknesses of Darwin's work, focusing particularly on the limitations of natural selection in explaining the origin of the higher taxa and the emergence of complex biological systems. 1. Darwin's success in explaining microevolution. One of Darwin's major contributions is his explanation of microevolution, the process by which small-scale changes occur within a species over time. Natural selection, acting on variation within populations, allows organisms to adapt to their environments. For example, Darwin famously observed that the finches on the Galapagos Islands exhibited different beak shapes depending on their feeding habits. This kind of adaptation is referred to as microevolution because it involves changes within a species, not the emergence of entirely new species or body plans. Modern evolutionary biology has confirmed many aspects of Darwin's theory when it comes to microevolutionary changes. We see evidence of this with antibiotic resistance developed by bacteria, or the variation in moth coloration due to environmental factors. These small, adaptive changes demonstrate how natural selection can act on existing genetic variation to favor traits that confer a survival advantage. However, the effectiveness of Darwin's theory in explaining microevolution does not enable it to explain the entirety of life's complexity. 2. The limits of Darwin's theory. Explaining mega-evolution and new body plans. While Darwin's theory successfully explains microevolution, it faces substantial falsifiers when attempting to account for macroevolution, the origin of entirely new body plans, and the emergence of higher taxa, such as new phyla, classes, or orders. The Cambrian explosion, which is a period approximately 540 million years ago, when a large number of complex multicellular organisms suddenly appeared in the fossil record, highlights this issue. During the Cambrian period, numerous new body plans emerged in a relatively short geological timeframe, without gradualistic, chronologically intermediate forms leading up to them. This event falsifies the gradualist approach of Darwin's theory, which relies on slow, incremental changes over long periods of time. The origin of higher taxa, including entirely new body plans, requires massive amounts of genetic information and complex organization. Darwin's theory, based on small, successive modifications, cannot explain how such profound changes could arise through gradual processes. For example, birds allegedly evolved from non-flying reptiles, but the origin of complex structures like wings, feathers, and the corresponding skeletal adaptations necessary for flight presents a significant falsifier for Darwinian explanations. There is no clear gradual pathway in the fossil record showing how non-flying reptiles slowly transformed into flying birds. The evolution of whales from land-dwelling mammals similarly requires multiple, coordinated changes in body structure, such as the transition of limbs into flippers, the development of a blowhole, and profound changes in physiology, all of which show that incremental modifications would not suffice to explain the coordinated adaptations necessary for such a transition. Darwin's theory of natural selection acting on random mutations is unable to account for the appearance of these new complex body plans. Mega-evolutionary changes, such as the emergence of entirely new body forms and complex biological systems, require explanations beyond those offered by gradualist Darwinian mechanisms. 3. The problem of irreducible complexity. One of the key challenges to Darwin's theory is the concept of irreducible complexity. Irreducible complexity refers to biological systems that are composed of multiple, interdependent parts, all of which are necessary for the system to function. If any one part is missing, the system ceases to operate. This poses a defeater for natural selection, which relies on small incremental changes to produce new features. If a system cannot function unless all of its parts are in place, How could it have evolved gradually? One prominent example of irreducible complexity is the bacterial flagellum, a molecular motor that allows bacteria to swim. The flagellum has a functional core of approximately 20 protein components, all of which are necessary for it to function as a rotary motor. The removal of any one part renders the entire system inoperative. According to Darwinian evolution, each step in the development of such a system would need to confer a selective advantage. But intermediate stages of a flagellum without all of its parts would offer no functional advantage and therefore would not be preserved by natural selection. Other examples of irreducible complexity include the blood clotting cascade, the vertebrate eye, and the immune system. Darwin's gradualist model of evolution provides no step-by-step, testable, and falsifiable biochemical process to explain how such complex systems could have evolved step by step, as each system requires all of its components to be in place for it to function properly. This points to the necessity of intelligent design, where these systems were designed to function as complete units, rather than evolving through blind, unguided processes. 4. The origin of biological information. Another major challenge to Darwin's theory is the origin of biological information. Modern biology has revealed that life is based on complex, specified information encoded in DNA. The genetic code operates as a language, with sequences of nucleotides, the letters of the genetic alphabet, encoding the instructions for building proteins, which are essential for life. Darwin's theory assumes that life already exists, and then tries to explain how species change over time. However, it does not address the fundamental question of how the first genetic information came into existence. The origin of life, specifically the emergence of the first self-replicating system with a fully functional genetic code, remains one of the greatest unsolved defeaters in science. Natural selection cannot operate without pre-existing life, as it requires living organisms that can reproduce and pass on their genetic material. Furthermore, the random mutation of genetic sequences is typically destructive, leading to harmful or neutral mutations, rather than generating new, complex biological information. This defeats the claim that random processes can account for the vast amounts of functional information required to build the complex organisms found in nature. 5. Philosophical implications. A materialist worldview. Darwin's theory is grounded in a materialist worldview, where everything is explained through materialistic natural processes without the need for intelligent design or supernatural intervention. However, this materialistic framework raises significant philosophical issues. If life is the product of blind, undirected processes, then meaning, purpose, and value become mere byproducts of evolution rather than objective truths. Moreover, the idea that all biological complexity arises from random mutations and natural selection leaves unanswered the question of why the universe and life itself exhibit such incredible order and fine-tuning. A purely naturalistic explanation of life fails to account for the design-like features of biological systems and the existence of intelligent, conscious beings capable of reflecting on the universe. Conclusion: the need for a broader framework. In conclusion, while Darwin's On the Origin of Species has provided insights into microevolution and the process of natural selection, it falls short in explaining the origin of new body plans, the emergence of higher taxa, and the origin of biological information. The theory of natural selection acting on random mutations is insufficient to account for the full complexity of life, particularly when it comes to mega-evolution and the appearance of irreducibly complex systems. Intelligent design offers a better and more rational explanation for the complexity and diversity of the higher taxa, kingdom, phylum, class, order, with microevolution helping the root species of each higher taxon to diversify into the species inside the lower taxa, genera, and taxonomic families. The limitations of Darwin's theory point to the need for a broader framework that recognizes the role of intelligence and purpose in the natural world. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts. If you would like me to respond to your comment, please make a Level 1 comment directly below the video. I will respond to all polite Level 1 comments, even if it takes me a while due to other commitments.